Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect peace. She will never give up. She finds joy in God's mercy. She is strong and courageous, and she does not have time for your games or negative energy. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect peace. She will never give up. She finds joy in God's mercy. She is strong and courageous, and she does not have time for your games or negative energy. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect peace. She will never give up. She finds joy in God's mercy. She is strong and courageous, and she does not have time for your games or negative energy. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect peace. She will never give up. She finds joy in God's mercy. She is strong and courageous, and she does not have time for your games or negative energy. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect peace. She will never give up. She finds joy in God's mercy. She is strong and courageous, and she does not have time for your games or negative energy. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect peace. She will never give up. She finds joy in God's mercy. She is strong and courageous, and she does not have time for your games or negative energy. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect. Nothing is impossible for this woman. She walks by faith, and God keeps her in perfect peace. She will never give up. She finds joy in God's mercy. She is strong and courageous, and she does not.
Mr. Dream Boy, ano kaya ang nasa isip sweet kang talaga. Medyo may holding hands pa nga, parang ayoko nang magising pa. Heto ako't litong-lito at di alam ang gagawin. Buong maghapoy nangangarap ng gising. Iniisip-isip kita, ang charming mong mga mata at ang iyong ngiting walang kasing galing. Hayan na nga't sumulyap na ang mapupungay mong mata. Kasalanan ko ba ang mapatulala? Ha, ha, ha. Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, ano kaya ang nasa isip mo? Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, lagi kang nasa panaginip ko. Dooy kinakausap ka at sweet na sweet kang talaga. Medyo may holding hands pa nga, parang ayoko nang magising pa. Heto ako't litong-lito at di alam ang gagawin. Buong maghapoy nangangarap ng gising. Iniisip-isip kita, ang charming mong mga mata at ang iyong ngiting walang kasing galing. Hayan na nga't sumulyap na ang mapupungay mong mata. Kasalanan ko ba ang mapatulala? Ha, ha, ha. Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, ano kaya ang nasa isip mo? Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, lagi kang nasa panaginip ko. Dooy kinakausap ka at sweet na sweet kang talaga. Medyo may holding hands pa nga, parang ayoko nang magising pa. Heto ako't litong-lito at di alam ang gagawin. Buong maghapoy nangangarap ng gising. Iniisip-isip kita, ang charming mong mga mata at ang iyong ngiting walang kasing galing. Hayan na nga't sumulyap na ang mapupungay mong mata. Kasalanan ko ba ang mapatulala? Ha, ha, ha. Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, ano kaya ang nasa isip mo? Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, lagi kang nasa panaginip ko. Dooy kinakausap ka at sweet na sweet kang talaga. Medyo may holding hands pa nga, parang ayoko nang magising pa. Heto ako't litong-lito at di alam ang gagawin. Buong maghapoy nangangarap ng gising. Iniisip-isip kita, ang charming mong mga mata at ang iyong ngiting walang kasing galing. Hayan na nga't sumulyap na ang mapupungay mong mata. Kasalanan ko ba ang mapatulala? Ha, ha, ha. Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, ano kaya ang nasa isip mo? Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, lagi kang nasa panaginip ko. Dooy kinakausap ka at sweet na sweet kang talaga. Medyo may holding hands pa nga, parang ayoko nang magising pa. Heto ako't litong-lito at di alam ang gagawin. Buong maghapoy nangangarap ng gising. Iniisip-isip kita, ang charming mong mga mata at ang iyong ngiting walang kasing galing. Hayan na nga't sumulyap na ang mapupungay mong mata. Kasalanan ko ba ang mapatulala? Ha, ha, ha. Mr. Dreamboy, Mr. Dreamboy, ano kaya ang nasa isip mo?
And remember this. You'll be alone in the most difficult times of your life. The These times will make you wise, mature, and fearless. No matter what good you do to people, they will only remember your mistakes. No is one of the most powerful. And remember this. You'll be alone in the most difficult times of your life. These times will make you wise, mature, and fearless. No matter what good you do to people, they will only remember your mistakes. No is one of the most powerful. And remember.
좋아하는 랜덤 게임, 랜덤 게임.
Oo, kasi alam ko 'pag pangit ayusin mo, alam ko. Oh, 'di ba nakita mo sinasabi ko? Oh, ano, i-ano mo ng konti. Alam mo na alam ko kapag may pangit kasi 'pag camera woman ka marunong ka. Sige na, nagla-live ako. Naka-live ako kasi makikinig ako ng words of God. Bye-bye, baby. Jane. Mega love shoutout. Ito, busy. You're eating. Yada. Be careful. What's wrong?
Kumain ka na ba o
I did ramen.
kumain
But I
ng
forgot
tinapay?
to get the medicine there. That's why I keep coming back. Kalimutan ko. Nandun yung ano
And we
natin,
had
guys.
to save up cash to get started into real estate. In fact, I was told I had to go to school, I had to get a license, I had to do all of these things just to get my start in real estate. Corbin, do we have to go to school to get started in real estate?
My daddy didn't go to college.
That's right. Her daddy did not go to school or college, and her
Trials. Ngayon lang ako, guys, nagkilos. Sabi niyo naman ako pag wala sa mood. Wala sa mood. Maalam mo ng ramen. Kailangan. Natulog ako. Akala ko gabi na, guys. So, natulog ako. Ano na lang. At least nakapagpahinga na. Mamaya makikinig tayo ng voice. A merry little Christmas. Hey! Oh, somebody's calling me. Get. Madam, how are you?
Oh, susunod ka rito. Wow, susunod ka rito.
Negative, wala tayong ganyan.
Hindi ka makasunod. Ano pupunta natin si Bossy?
Wala eh. Burat eh. Ano mo sa kanya? Burat.
Nasaan ka ngayon?
Nandito, naglilinis. Madam. Isa ko madam. Everybody knows. Mga nasa ano ba? Ako guys I cannot take it na eh. Wala akong space. Why? Cartoon pala ng pulpos. Aray! Okay. Mga luma akong Christmas deco. Meron pang tiketa. Oh. Magamit na. Ko pala. When I used and when I go sleeping. Namiss kaya yung labo. Oh, tapon na natin. Oh, ang dami rin mga ano. Ang dami kami mga province. Mga to, pangmalayan ko. Over the stage, one. That's my baby. Baby ni Mami. Ang cute niya. Sarap po. Spring slippers. Saka na mas importante kasi. So, Takbo mga shape nila. Susunod. Dada,
Wow.
can you get me the plastic bag, the rolled plastic bag over there? Saw it there? There. Andyan, dyan, dyan. Dyan sa parang napapatungan ng mga damit. Dyan, ayoko na.
Ano yun?
Yung rollo na ganito. Ay, yung puti dyan, nakikita mo? Andyan, lumakad ka konti. Forward, forward. Ayan, andyan, nandun.
Okay.
See?
Iwanan mo dyan kung gusto mo. Eh,
I need to get the roll. The roll.
gusto mo ibigay ko sa'yo.
Lahat.
Oh,
Mm. Hindi rin naka- Hmm. Talaga ako sa parang para matatapos din sila. Naantok. Bago ako matulog, kaya matutulog ako mga 12:00. Sundot yung tenga. Para matulog kasi ngayon tayong oras
Big Pharma hates when you do this, but they can't do a damn thing about it. These shoes help relieve back pain and knee pain, making you feel like you're walking on clouds. They're already been sold out multiple times on Amazon and Walmart and all those other big box stores because it's been a top recommendation from pain specialists. And now the company behind it is cutting out the middleman after selling over 2 million units in the last 90 days, all without those big retailers who just jack up the price tag. It's footwear, and here's the kicker. They were originally designed by Dr. Curated Army Flight Medic. This guy wanted to help retired veterans enjoy more pain-free movement. Then, almost by accident, he found a solution in an ancient Chinese medicine journal. Dr. Feinberg discovered that by applying pressure to specific acupoints on the feet, pain throughout the entire body could be alleviated. So he created a unique type of shoe that relieves all types of body pain, allowing veterans to walk longer distances without discomfort. But now it's finally available to the public. And trust me, it's flying off the shelves faster than you can imagine. They're using a modernized form of acupressure, which is an ancient healing technique that is now making a big comeback. By using unique insoles that target 12 large acupoints, providing pain relief, they're allowing you to walk.
Yan, ano. Pinito ko po yun. Mali. Sige tayo po. Ay, hindi pala pwede. Palilinisan natin lahat po. Kasi parang napagod ako. Para kasi nilinisan. Kasi lagi nasisira agad. Dapat po. Next year. Kaya ako yun. Kakala. Dapat po. Sana basa.
To almost
Oo.
any country was super cheap.
Sounds like a
Now put those presents back and keep the cookies.
Okay. Hoy, mga chismosa, nandiyan kayo? Sobra naman kayo. Ayaw niyo akong lubaya? Chika. Ito, pansama. T-shirt kami talaga kung ano na ano. Mga una kong mga damit. Pabulong ko. Natin masahan guys. So, like, love, heart. Kasi yung cotton. T-shirt ng gagawin. Shape. Meron po kami. Ako na. Tatlo o apat. Iba nagsabi ako naman. Maganda pa ang tanong. Hindi tayo kakanta mag-live.
Ever missed this? Before you were preventing migraines?
Holiday deal hunting.
It's kind of our thing.
Best Buy doorbusters every Friday. You're on it. How we doing, our
naman na ayaw na naman. Pero sa ibang tao, sa Pilipinas, ang gamitin pa nila. Ayoko na yung nagbigay, kaya ayoko nang aalat. Diba? Kung mang ganito. Yung mga nadala ko na yun, puro mga bago. Saka natin bubong pa lang. Kaya sabi ng closet. Yung mga lumang talagang nasa cabinet na kailangan ko ng sukaw. hanap tayo itong ikit na damit. Guys, alam niyo bang Japanese ang full? Minsan po, convenience lang talaga. Nabibig na namin. Binibilang kami parang ka ng mga
Location and financial freedom. You know that this new career may be the answer to all your prayers. Because what I'm about to reveal to you is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It pays extremely well. It's flexible with hours and location. You don't need a degree. It's the craziest part. You can earn while
ano? Ay, hindi natin ba? Tapos yung Prada, lalabang ko lang yun. Standard na yan eh. Yung bag kasi. Sayang. Yung bag. Kahit ito. Ano mo, di mo nasira. Saan ko lang dito sinabi. Doon yung dulo. Ako yun. Monday, magwa-white ako. Pinambabad trip kasi sa amin. Carol. After all. Mga dalawang baliktad. Happy holidays. The Lord we have for Jesus. Ay, kot nga ako mama yung puti. Ito guys. Patungan mo ng under lang ng lansahin natin para hindi tayo katulad. Yan, suot natin bukas. Ano yan? Malinis naman natin. Kaya lang nakatago. Kasi nga, nagpalit ako ng mga ibang damit na hindi nakabit. Yung binibili namin ng sa mga guys. Hindi naman. Yan, kapanan tayo. Okay. Mga 12 o'clock tayo matulog. Ayan, tapon tayo lang. Tapos kailangan natin maglagay din natin. Ano ba yun? Hindi ako pwede sa iba. Pads. Kasi ito silip sa ako. Ang hipon sa pinagtatapon ako ng mga damit. Alam mo yung mga nandito sa taas. Ano kasi parang matos. Si Tiriret, nag-aantok. Sleepy. Because it's cold. Lagi na lang siya nagwawala. Nakalak. Babalik pa tayo. After natin magsimbang gabi, kung na talaga tayo maabutas. Lalag din tayo pero hindi tayo kakantay. Sa pagpunta tayo lang tayo ng gawa. Ang sleepy mo. Pero ngayon ba, hanggang 12 pa tayo. Ano pa lang naman ay nangyari. 55. Kahit tayo. Siguro, ano lang. Parang hindi masarap yung noodles. Kinain natin ba? O dahil hindi ko inilagay yung sauce. Guys. Ito nandun ko pa nanilagay sa freezer. Sabi ko meron akong coconut. Panat-nat-nat, isang chari. Kaya siyempre, ang pinakamasarap. Ito. Actually, ito. 9:56. Mamaya matutulog na tayo pero yung mga damit doon, ayun yung nabas. Gusto pa natin gamitin. Ano natin yung lalagay sa lahat. Aha. Magtatanggal naman ako ng loob. Magpapahinga tayo ngayon kasi kung maganda tayo magsasagad ngayon kasi bukas pagkagaling sa church, sasagalin natin linis. Buong maghapon na naman. Para talagang ayos na. Ano pa nagpakapagod tayo ng gabi. Pero syempre, yung mga daming damit. Bawasan ko yung damit. Tatanggal tayo yung damit dito sa sa kanila. Yung sa akin, tatanggalin ko yung iba. Apat na plastic bag yung tinapa natin. Ayun. Dapat kasi yung bag ko yung yung garbage storage na plastic bag na malaki talaga. Nag-iipon lang. Bale, bukas yun, alis na. Natatapos na yun. Ilang naman na yung mga gamit na yun na sinartak ko. Tapos, yung sa closet. Tapos, Pero bago muna ako magkalipay sa closet pala. Kailangan ko muna hindi. Babaklas mo na pala ako lahat ng damit. Babaklas ko na mamaya kaya katamang ko. Ay, minsan na. Kaya ganun tayo. Tatapusin natin yung kalat natin dyan sa akin. Magbuto sa lahat. Susuot natin yung ano yung bulaklakan na parang itim na puti. Ganda yun. Magdagang kasi yung coat. Malaki yung coat. Magbabaklas tayo mga ibang damit doon na hindi na binubukal. Mga damit na tatanggalin ko na. Hindi man sinusuot na. Kasi natin bukas lahat. Tutusok ng buka yung ilong ko. Tapos natin ayusin yung damit. Bakasin yung bakal. Habang hindi pa natutulog tong isa. Tapos pasamin natin. Ay, kumain ng kanin. Yeah. Napugutom kasi ako. Ayun na, kumain ng kanin ng pananghalian, di ba? Yung pala kinakain na. Napugutom ako, guys. Kain tayo ng isang yun yung dinner natin. Bukas ulit tayo kakain ng gulay naman pinakbit. Pero maaga na ako magbahan. bukas magpuputi tayo. Kasi nahirapan din ako mamili ng damit ko. Kaya nagtatagal kaya yun yung isusuot ko. Tapos may undergarment yun na long sleeve kasi hindi kakayanin ng ganong kanipis lang. Gusto ko pang uminom ng Hindi siya sa kanya. Di magtatagal ang iyong dungdong. Gusto ko pero ito natin nalagay ko ba ako. Patakbo sa halata. Handa na yung kulay. Kulay. Ang pahanda. Pag may nilabasin na tayo, that means it's a good time. It's a time na tanto. May kulog. Baklas na yung tayo. Dapat clear tayo. Clear na siya yan. Gabi. That's our goal. Clear na dapat siya ngayong gabi. Clear naman na yun. Nilabas na lang naman kasi natin yung mga damit. So, ngayon ang gagawin natin. Ilalabas na natin yung mga damit na dapat ilagay pa sa ilalim. Pero yung mga gusto ko damatin agad. Lalabas na natin yung ganyan. Like yung puti na yung yun. Tapos yung mga magana tayo ng different stuff. May magandang talaga. Para magising ho ako. Maganda yung you got them shocked and impressed on how you handle situation. Wow. Kaya natin kung ano sasabihin na. Sabi, you got them shocked and impressed on how you handled situation. Okay, let's see. Ay, nakangati. Kaya yun ang purpose ng nag-iipit ako guys. Ng tatlo, ganun. 3, 4. Kasi kailangan siyang yung damit ko talaga, yung buhok kailangan ano talaga, kasi kung hindi, kasi ito baby bangs yan, eh, 'pag merong isa, dalawa, hanggang dito lang talaga nangangati. So, pakinggan natin yung
Welcome, the anointed ones.
Yeah.
When the truth roars loud enough,
kasunod.
even the deaf will hear it. Have you ever noticed how loyalty can flip like a coin, often without warning? One minute, someone is standing firm on their side, convinced they know the game. And the next, they're suddenly cheering for the other team. Suspicious? Absolutely. Unexpected? Maybe. But let's be real. When people see who's really winning, it's hard not to reconsider their alliances. Here's the kicker. Studies show that over 70% of people are influenced by actions more than words. Translation? When your results speak for themselves, people start listening, even the ones who swore they never would. So what happens when the undeniable truth forces a shift? Someone's jumping ship, switching sides, and it's not just because they like your vibe, it's because you've made it impossible to ignore. And the best part, they'll act like it was their idea all along. Classic. Let's dive into why and how you've become the gravitational pull they can't resist. Number one, unveiling the masks. People wear masks every day, smiling when they're upset, pretending they're confident when they're full of doubt, or acting loyal while secretly weighing their options. It's part of human nature. But here's the twist. Masks only work as long as no one looks too closely. The moment someone starts seeing through the facade, the game changes. And when that person is you, the one whose authenticity cuts through the noise, it's almost inevitable. They start questioning everything and everyone else. This isn't about flashy words or grand gestures. It's about consistency, the quiet kind that speaks louder than anything else. When someone realizes you're the same person behind closed doors as you are in public, it's like a cold bucket of water over their previous beliefs. The people they've been loyal to suddenly look like cheap imitations compared to the realness you bring. And here's where it gets interesting. The switch isn't immediate. First, they hesitate. They replay conversations, rethink moments, and start noticing cracks in the foundation of the side they've been standing on. Those cracks, they're all the things they once ignored because it was easier to go along with the crowd. But now they've seen you, and there's no going back. The truth is, people crave authenticity even if they don't realize it at first. It's magnetic, irresistible. The more they see you being unapologetically you, the more they understand what they've been missing. That's when and they can't help but drop it. The shift begins, quietly but powerfully. And when they finally switch sides, it's not just a decision, it's a declaration. They've chosen what's real. And you've become the undeniable standard. Number two, magnetism of truth. Truth has a way of cutting through everything, no matter how thick the lies or distractions are. It's not loud or flashy, it doesn't need to be. Truth is like gravity, silent, constant, and impossible to escape. People may fight it, ignore it, or even deny it outright. But in the end, it's always there, waiting for them to wake up. When someone switches sides, it's usually because the truth they've been avoiding has become too heavy to ignore. Maybe they started to notice inconsistencies, felt the weight of their own doubts, or saw the cracks in the foundation of what they thought was solid. Whatever the reason, it wasn't you forcing them to change. It was the truth pulling them in like a force of nature. Here's what makes truth so powerful. It doesn't require anyone's approval to exist. You don't have to argue for it, prove it, or dress it up to make it appealing. It just is. And that's what makes it so magnetic. When people start to feel its pull, they realize how empty everything else has been. They may try to resist for a while. Ego and pride have a way of clinging to the familiar. But deep down, they know they can't fight forever. This isn't about being right or winning them over. It's about the undeniable force of something real, something that resonates so deeply it shatters whatever illusions they've been clinging to. And when that happens, they don't just switch sides, they recalibrate their entire perspective. It's not about you convincing them, it's about the truth doing what it always does, revealing itself. And when it does, no one can stay the same. They move closer, not because they want to, but because they have to. Number three, energy speaks louder than words. Energy doesn't lie. Long before someone admits they're reconsidering their stance or switching sides, they've already felt it in your presence. It's not about what you say, how you dress, or even what you've accomplished. It's the energy you carry. That invisible, undeniable force speaks louder than anything else. And here's the kicker. People can sense it, even if they don't fully understand it. It starts small. Maybe they notice how calm you are in chaos, how certain you are when everyone else is second-guessing themselves, or how your words hit differently, not because they're fancy, but because they come from a place of truth. Your energy doesn't just enter a room. It lingers, reshapes the vibe, and forces people to pay attention, even if they don't realize they're doing it. This isn't about being flashy or trying to dominate. It's about the kind of presence that feels steady, unshakable. The kind of energy that makes people question their own because it exposes where they're lacking. It's subtle, but relentless, and it doesn't beg for recognition. It simply is. That's what gets under their skin in the best way. The fascinating thing is, most people don't even connect the dots right away. They might think it's your confidence, your intelligence, or even just luck. But deep down, it's none of that. It's the energy you're putting out, and they feel it on a level they can't quite explain. Eventually, it becomes impossible to ignore. They start leaning in, curious, trying to figure out what makes you different. And before they know it, they're aligning with you. Not because you asked them to, but because your energy spoke to something in them they didn't even know needed to be awakened. Number 4, the power of relentless consistency. Consistency is one of the most underestimated forms of power. It's not flashy or attention-seeking. It doesn't demand applause. Instead, it quietly builds credibility, one action at a time, until even the harshest skeptics can't deny its presence. When you're consistent, truly consistent, in who you are, what you stand for, and how you show up, you create a force that's impossible to ignore. People notice patterns, whether consciously or subconsciously. They might not say it out loud, but they're paying attention. Every time you stick to your word, follow through on a promise, or hold the same values no matter the situation, it plants a seed in their minds. They start to realize that you're not just putting on a show or riding a trend. You're the real deal, and you're in it for the long haul. The thing about consistency is that it builds trust in a way nothing else can. It's easy to impress someone once, but to do it over and over again, that's what sets you apart. Over time, even those who doubted you will start to feel the pull. They'll compare your unwavering presence to the fickleness of others and begin to understand why you stand out. Relentless consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being dependable. It's about showing up authentically, no matter what. And here's the truth. People crave that kind of stability. In a world full of shifting loyalties and unpredictable behavior, being someone they can count on becomes magnetic. Eventually, it's not just that they recognize you, they can't help but respect you, because while others come and go, switch up or fade away, you remain. And in the end, consistency isn't just a habit, it's a statement of who you are. Number 5, the silent persuader. Integrity. Integrity has a way of not making a sound. It doesn't announce itself or demand attention. It's steady and undeniable. People may not always recognize it immediately, but over time it becomes impossible to overlook. Integrity isn't about perfection or being morally superior. It's about alignment. It's about your actions consistently matching your words, even when no one's watching. When someone switches sides because of your integrity, it's rarely a dramatic moment. It's quiet, internal, and deeply personal. They've been watching you, maybe for weeks, months, or even years, paying attention to the little things. They notice how you handle pressure, how you treat people who can't do anything for you, and how you navigate situations where taking shortcuts would have been easier. These moments stick with them, even if they don't say a word. What's powerful about integrity is that it shines brightest in contrast. When they compare your steadfastness to the inconsistencies around them, the difference becomes glaring. It's not that you're perfect, it's that you're real, and realness is rare enough to turn heads. Switching sides often isn't about liking you more. It's about realizing they can no longer trust the side they're on. Your values become a mirror, reflecting what they've been tolerating or ignoring in others. That quiet realization builds until they can't justify staying where they are. Integrity doesn't need to convince anyone. It doesn't beg for approval or try to sway opinions. It stands firm, and that unshakable foundation is what pulls people in. When someone finally makes the shift, it's because they've seen the truth of who you are, and they want to be aligned with it, not because you asked them to, but because they couldn't deny it any longer. Number 6, undeniable results. Results don't lie. While words can be twisted, promises broken, and intentions questioned, results stand as irrefutable proof. They don't need explanations or defenses. They speak for themselves. When people see you achieving what others only talk about, the conversation shifts. It's no longer about opinions or debates. It's about facts that can't be ignored. This is the power of undeniable results. They force people to reevaluate what they thought they knew. The skeptics who doubted you, they start rethinking their stance. The ones who dismissed you, they're now paying attention. And those who were on the fence, they're finally choosing a side, and it's yours. What makes results so powerful is that they cut through all the noise. In a world full of empty promises and flashy distractions, tangible outcomes are rare. They're proof that you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk, and the evidence is right there for everyone to see. People can argue with your methods, your personality, or your approach, but they can't argue with success. This is where loyalty starts to shift. When someone sees consistent, undeniable proof of your effectiveness, it plants a seed of doubt about where their current allegiance lies. They begin to wonder why they're supporting people or systems that talk big but deliver little. That doubt grows until switching sides feels less like a betrayal and more like common sense. Undeniable results don't just win arguments, they win respect. They create a gravitational pull that draws people in, even if they were initially resistant. It's not about bragging or proving anyone wrong. It's about showing, through action, that you're the real deal. And when the evidence is too strong to ignore, people can't help but gravitate toward you. Number 7. They realize their current path is a dead end.
Lemonade Pet Insurance helps you cover the cost of your pet's health care. It's so good. You wish you were a pet. Get a quote for your pet.
There comes a moment when the curtain falls and someone realizes they've been walking a path that leads nowhere. It's not a gentle revelation. It's a jarring gut-punch realization that everything they believed in, defended, or stood for was built on a foundation of sand. That's when the switch happens. Not because they want to, but because staying where they are feels like betraying themselves. This shift often begins with frustration. They start noticing cracks in the structure they've been standing on. The lies, the contradictions, the lack of progress. At first, they might brush it off, make excuses, or tell themselves they're just imagining things. But the cracks don't go away. They widen, and eventually they can't look past them anymore. The contrast becomes impossible to ignore. On one side is their current path, stagnant, hollow, and full of empty promises. On the other side is your path, clear, purposeful, and undeniably real. The difference is stark, almost blinding. It forces them to confront a truth they've been avoiding. What they believed in was never as solid as they thought. Switching sides in this moment isn't a betrayal of their past. It's an act of survival. They're not just leaving their old path behind. They're choosing to align with something that feels right, even if it means admitting they were wrong. And that's not easy. It takes familiar, even when you know it's a dead end. But once they do, there's no turning back. The relief of stepping onto solid ground, of finally aligning with something real, outweighs the discomfort of change. They switch sides, not because they were pushed, but because they were pulled by the undeniable truth of where they were meant to be. Number 8, your unapologetic confidence is contagious. Confidence that doesn't beg for approval is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It's not about being the loudest or the flashiest. It's about a quiet, unshakable certainty that says, I know who I am, and I don't need anyone's permission to be it. This kind of confidence is rare, and that's exactly why it's so magnetic. When people encounter unapologetic confidence, it's like a shock to the system. Most are used to seeing insecurity wrapped in bravado or self-assurance tied to external validation. But when someone walks into a room carrying the kind of confidence that's rooted deep within, completely detached from opinion, applause, or criticism, it's impossible to ignore. It's not arrogance either. Arrogance is defensive, insecure, and desperate for attention. True confidence doesn't demand anything. It's steady, grounded, and entirely self-sufficient. And that's what makes it contagious. When someone sees you standing firm in your truth, they start questioning their own doubts and insecurities. They wonder what it would feel like to carry that same kind of certainty in themselves. The people realize this kind of confidence isn't loud, it's felt. It's in the way you speak, how you carry yourself, and the ease with which you navigate challenges. You're not trying to prove anything, you're simply existing as you are. And that's what draws people in. Over time, they can't help but want to be closer to that energy. They start aligning with you, not because you've convinced them to, but because your confidence has made them question their own limitations. It inspires them, challenges them, and ultimately pulls them in. Your unapologetic confidence becomes the quiet revolution that shifts everything. Number 9. They were watching you all along. Long before anyone openly admits it, they've been watching you. Every word you speak, every decision you make, every move you take is being observed, analyzed, and filed away in their minds, often without them even realizing it. It's like an invisible thread connecting you to their thoughts, one they can't quite shake. At first, they might not know exactly why they're drawn to you, but something about your consistency, your authenticity, or your quiet power keeps pulling them in. They might act like they're indifferent, even dismissive, but in reality, they're paying attention. They watch how you handle adversity, how you treat others, how you navigate challenges with a kind of calm that's foreign to them. They may never say it, but they're impressed. Even if they don't want to admit it, they're learning from you, unconsciously picking up on the way you move through the world. What's powerful about this is that it doesn't require you to perform or seek validation. While they're watching, you're just living your truth, showing up consistently, and being exactly who you are. And without realizing it, you're planting seeds. Each time you stay true to your values, each time you handle a situation with integrity or quiet confidence, those seeds take root in their minds. And then one day, it clicks. All those little observations come together in a powerful realization. You're the real deal. They can no longer ignore it. It's not about you convincing them. It's about them suddenly realizing that what they've been watching all along was something worth following, something worth aligning with. And just like that, the switch happens. Not because you asked them to, but because the seeds you planted have finally grown into something undeniable. Number 10, The domino effect of influence. The power of influence is like a stone dropped in water. It doesn't just affect one spot, it sends ripples outward, touching everything around it. When someone switches sides because they see the truth, it often doesn't stop with just them. That one shift sparks a domino effect, quietly and powerfully turning the tide. It's not always obvious at first, but once the first person makes the move, it's like a chain reaction starts, and soon others follow suit, often without even realizing why they're doing it. The thing about influence is that it doesn't need to be loud or in your face. It's often subtle. Someone notices the change in one person, the confidence they have now, or the success they've achieved, and they start to wonder if they're missing out. When they see someone they trust make a decision, it creates a sense of safety. They start to think, maybe this is the right move after all. That's when the ripple effect takes hold. One person's decision to switch sides isn't just a personal choice. It becomes a signal to others that it's okay to change, to challenge the status quo, to align with something real. It creates a shift in the group's collective mindset, almost like a quiet revolution spreading through them. It's contagious. When others witness someone's growth, confidence, or success, they want to be part of it. They want the same thing for themselves. Soon, that initial shift isn't just an isolated event. It turns into a movement, a transformation within a group, a sea change that can't be ignored. What started as one person's decision spreads like wildfire. And before you know it, your influence has changed not just one mind, but a whole group's direction. Number 11, you challenge their narrative. There's something incredibly powerful about challenging someone's narrative, especially when they didn't even realize they were living inside a story that wasn't theirs to begin with. When you step into their world, consistently challenging what they believe to be true, you force them to confront the cracks in their own mindset. It's not about outright confrontation. It's about the quiet, relentless questioning that makes them reconsider their assumptions, their values, and even their allegiances. The beauty of this challenge is that it doesn't require you to be loud or combative. You don't need to attack their beliefs, just live yours unapologetically. By being living proof of what they once thought impossible or illogical, you force them to face the uncomfortable truth that their narrative no longer fits. And the longer they resist that truth, the more it eats away at the foundation they've built their life on. At first, they might try to rationalize it, ignore it, or justify their own beliefs. They might even double down, hoping the doubts will go away. But the more they see you living in a way that directly contradicts everything they've been taught or told, the harder it becomes to deny. They begin to question everything, from the people they've trusted to the systems they've relied on. When those beliefs start to crumble, the shift happens naturally. Aligning with you becomes the only logical choice. It's not about convincing them or making them agree with you. It's about showing them that their current narrative is built on sand, while yours stands on solid ground. And in that moment, they realize the only way forward is to embrace a new story, one where they are no longer chained to outdated beliefs, but are free to align with something real and undeniable. Number 12, the inevitable spotlight of greatness. Greatness has a way of demanding attention, even when you try to stay out of the spotlight. It doesn't scream for recognition. Instead, it quietly draws people in with its quiet confidence, its relentless drive, and its undeniable presence. When someone is truly standing in their power, fully embracing who they are and what they're capable of, there's a magnetic pull that others can't ignore, no matter how much they try to look the other way. The fascinating thing about greatness is that it doesn't require validation or applause. It exists unapologetically, whether people recognize it or not. When you remain unbothered by the doubters or naysayers, when you continue moving forward with unwavering belief in yourself, your light becomes impossible to miss. It shines through the cracks of the noise, rising above the distractions and the criticisms until it becomes undeniable. People can only pretend not to see it for so long. They can resist, they can stay loyal to their old beliefs, or they can stay in their comfort zones. But greatness is contagious. It pulls people in, whether they're ready for it or not. As they see you continue to shine, unaffected by the opinions of others, they begin to question their own hesitations, their own choices. They see what's possible, what's achievable, and they start to wonder if they've been missing out on something much bigger than themselves. And that's when they start gravitating toward your light. They don't need convincing. They can feel the warmth of your power. Your presence becomes a beacon, and those who were once indifferent or unsure can't help but be drawn to the energy you radiate. Greatness doesn't stay hidden forever, and when it finally emerges, it pulls others toward it like a force of nature. In the end, real recognizes real, and it doesn't just stop at recognizing it, it gravitates toward it. When you stand firm in your truth, when you consistently live with integrity, when your results speak louder than your words, people can't help but be pulled into your orbit. They may start off skeptical, hesitant, or unsure, but sooner or later, they'll see the undeniable force of who you are. Your confidence, your authenticity, your quiet power, all of it will shine through, and those who have been watching, even from the sidelines, will find themselves drawn to the light you radiate.
You don't need to chase validation or try to convince anyone of your worth. The energy you project, the truth you live, and the results you deliver will do the work for you. People will start switching sides, not because you demanded it, but because they see something real in you that they can't ignore. And when that shift happens, it's not just a personal victory, it's a ripple effect, a movement that spreads far beyond what you could ever imagine. Greatness doesn't need to shout or beg for attention, it simply is. And those who are ready for it will find their way to you, whether it's one person or an entire group. So keep standing in your power, unapologetically, unwaveringly, because greatness, in all its quiet brilliance, has a way of becoming impossible to overlook. And when it happens, there's no turning back. If you felt the power of these words, if you can see the undeniable force of standing in your truth, then now is the time to be part of something greater. Don't just watch from the sidelines, join the movement channel and get ready to unlock even more powerful insights, inspiring stories, and the kind of truth that fuels greatness. Together, we're rewriting the narrative, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's keep growing, because your time to shine is now. God bless you.
A CRM shouldn't weigh your budget down. It should lift your teams up. A CRM shouldn't hide fees. It should save you money. A CRM shouldn't slam you with add-ons. It should work with the tools. A CRM shouldn't leave you in the dark. It should deliver insight.
Welcome, the anointed ones. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives, or so they say. But what if the wolf not only survives, but thrives,
The power shift was always imminent, but you accelerated it. The shift in power was never going to be sudden. It was inevitable. But you didn't just wait for it to happen. You made it happen, faster and on your own terms. What makes this sting for the other side is that they never saw it coming, even though all the signs were there. You didn't pull a lucky move. You orchestrated a series of events so seamlessly that to outsiders it looks like fate. In reality, it was calculated, deliberate, and brilliant. They thought they were untouchable, sitting comfortably at the top, convinced their grip on the game was unshakable. They underestimated how fast things can change when the right person, at the right time, makes the right move. That person was you. You didn't announce your plans or make grand declarations. You simply watched, studied, and positioned yourself where you needed to be. And then, just like that, you tipped the scale. What burns them the most is that they didn't just lose. They feel betrayed by their own arrogance. They assumed they had more time, assumed you were just another player in their game. They didn't realize you weren't waiting for permission to take the reins. You were already holding them. And now, as they scramble to make sense of it all, they can't figure out where it went. It didn't go wrong. It went exactly how it was always going to go. They just didn't see it. You didn't cheat. You didn't rush. If anything, you merely sped up what was already destined to happen. And now that the shift has happened, they're left in the dust, wondering how they missed the warning signs while you're miles ahead, completely unbothered by their confusion. Number two, you weren't just playing cards, you designed the deck. You didn't just play the cards you were dealt, you built the deck. While they thought everyone was operating under the same rules, you were quietly working behind the scenes, shaping the game in ways they never even considered. They assumed you were reacting to the hand you'd been given, but the truth is, every move you made was deliberate. Every decision part of a bigger picture they couldn't see. They were so busy focusing on their own strategy that they never stopped to question the foundation of the game itself. And that's where you had them. You weren't just another player at the table. You were the architect, deciding how and when the game would unfold. While they played by the book, you rewrote it. While they relied on luck and instinct, you were calculating outcomes and anticipating their every move. Now they feel blindsided. They thought they had a chance, thought they were in control, but that was part of the illusion you created. You let them believe they had the upper hand because it kept them distracted. The more confident they became, the more they played into your hands. By the time they realized they were being outmaneuvered, it was too late. This wasn't about cheating or deception. It was about mastery. You didn't break the rules. You understood them better than anyone else and used them to your advantage. The deck wasn't rigged. It was perfectly crafted for someone with the skill and patience to use it right. That someone was you. Now they're left feeling played, not because you tricked them, but because they never even realized they weren't in control to begin with. You didn't just beat them. You made them question whether they ever had a real shot. Number three, revenge was never your intention, just a side effect. Revenge was never the goal. For you, this wasn't about settling scores or proving a point. It was about progress. The moves you made, the decisions that shifted everything, weren't fueled by malice. They were strategic, practical, and necessary. But now, as they sit in the rubble of their own missteps, they can't help but take it personally. That's not your problem. It's theirs.
Can anyone learn to sing, or is it a talent you're just born with? Here's the real answer. If you can speak and can vary your pitch up and down,
Welcome to Knowledge and Power. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, but sometimes the weapon backfires on the one who aimed it. Let's be real. There are moments when life feels like a battlefield, and it seems like the enemy has all the power. They've schemed, lied, and tried to destroy you. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still you. That's not luck. That's purpose. You were built for something bigger, something unshakable, and no amount of plotting against you can change that. This isn't just a story of survival. This is about justice. The same hands that tried to tear you down are now facing the consequences of their actions. And not because of anything you did, but because there's a higher power at work. You're the chosen one. Not because life is easier for you, but because you're resilient enough to handle battles that would break anyone else. Here's the truth. They couldn't take your life because it doesn't belong to them. Your journey is divinely assigned. But God, He can strip away everything they hold dear in an instant if it aligns with His plan for justice. Their downfall isn't your doing. It's the inevitable result of messing with someone who walks with purpose. This video is your reminder, your encouragement, and your wake-up call. Watch it to understand why you're chosen, to see what divine protection really looks like, and to learn how to step fully into the life that was meant for you. You didn't just survive, you're here to thrive. Now let's talk about why. Number one, your life is covered in layers they can't see. They think they've got you figured out. They think their schemes, their words, or their actions can break you down. But what they fail to understand is that you're not standing here alone. You're wrapped in something far beyond their comprehension, layers of protection so intricate, so untouchable that their weapons might as well be aimed at the air. These layers aren't visible to the eye, but they're undeniable in their power. They're the reason their plans keep falling apart, the reason you survived what should have destroyed you, and the reason why every time they come for you, they end up hurting themselves instead. You see, these layers are built from purpose. And purpose isn't just some motivational buzzword. It's a force, a shield, a destiny that protects what belongs to it. They might think they're striking at your weaknesses, but they don't realize that what they're actually hitting is divine protection. Every insult, every betrayal, every trap they set gets absorbed, deflected, or turned back around. Not by your hand, but by the power wrapped around you. They don't see the spiritual armor you wear, and even if they did, they wouldn't know how to break it. You were chosen for something greater, and that's not up for negotiation. They can't rewrite your purpose, no matter how hard they try. What they aim at you is useless against someone who's covered in protection that comes from above. Every time they strike, they only confirm their own limits. Their weapons will never be enough, because you were built for more than they'll ever understand. The layers around you don't just keep you safe, they keep you moving forward, untouched, unstoppable. Number 2, they're chained by the consequences they tried to give you. They thought they could bind you with chains of betrayal, manipulation, and deceit. They forged their plans carefully, convinced that your downfall was inevitable. But what they failed to realize is that the very chains they created for you are the ones tightening around their own wrists. The very trap they set for you has become their prison. Ironically, the walls they built to control you are the very walls they can't escape from now. The consequences of their actions aren't reserved for you. They belong to them. Every lie, every calculated move, every effort to dismantle your peace has turned into a noose around their own neck. Their arrogance blinded them to the truth, that their attempts to destroy you would eventually turn inward. The same manipulation they thought would break you has only succeeded in breaking them. What they built with malice has become their own undoing, a self-inflicted trap they can't escape. It's a cruel twist of fate. A trap they crafted step by step is now the very thing keeping them bound. They never considered that the power they wielded to harm would eventually be their own downfall. The more they dug, the deeper they sank. The more they plotted, the tighter the chains became. Now, they're trapped in a web of their own making, unable to separate from the very consequences they tried to impose on you. What they intended as a sentence for your destruction has turned into their own prison sentence, a painful reminder that the chains of cruelty are always heavier when forged with selfishness. Number 3, God doesn't play symmetry. Justice isn't about balance, it's about truth. When someone tries to take what isn't theirs, your peace, your purpose, or even your life, God doesn't respond with a simple tit for tat. He doesn't match their cruelty or sink to their level. His justice is something entirely different, something they'll never see coming. They might think the worst they could do to you was the end of the story, but it wasn't even the beginning. God didn't let you lose what mattered most because that was never part of the plan. What they aimed to destroy wasn't theirs to touch in the first place. But here's the twist. While you're rebuilding, healing, and growing, foundation is crumbling beneath them.
Did you know that a simple warm water and cinnamon ritual can reverse your type 2 diabetes? Pay attention. Blood sugar levels up to 100 are considered normal. From 100 to 126, it becomes alarming because you're becoming pre-diabetic. Focus on this, because if you do nothing, in 5 years, 70% of people will become diabetic. This is the standard in medicine. And do you know what makes your glucose jump from 100 to 130? No, I have no idea. Is it the carbohydrates we eat? No, that's another myth. Carbohydrates are not the cause of diabetes. You can eat toasted bread. It's been proven there's no connection. And do you know why there's no connection? Because it's already been proven that a diabetic's pancreas produces insulin. The problem is that something inside the pancreas is trapping the natural insulin. And it was during this research that they discovered the cause of type 2 diabetes is a nocturnal
God's justice doesn't settle for symmetry. It goes beyond it. It's not about making things even. It's about exposing the truth and setting things right. Their cruelty came from a place of emptiness, but his justice will strip them of everything they tried to use against you. And it won't just stop there. The very things they clung to, their power, their pride, their control, might be the first things he takes away. They wanted to see you broken, but God didn't just protect you. He elevated you. They'll lose everything they thought made them untouchable, not because you asked for revenge, but because that's how divine justice works. It outweighs, overpowers, and completely dismantles. God's justice isn't a mirror, it's a reckoning. It's not cruel, but it's definitive. He won't just match their energy. He'll undo everything they built on lies while ensuring you rise above it all. That's not balance, that's divine restoration. And that's why they'll never win. Number 4, they wrote the script, but God directed the plot twist. Some people think they hold the pen to your story, as if they can dictate your downfall and script the ending to their advantage. They plan every detail, certain that they've mapped out your failure. But But what they fail to understand is that God isn't just the editor, he's the ultimate director, and his plot twists are unmatched. They set up their scene thinking they've got the perfect plan. They imagine your defeat as the climax, the moment they sit back and watch you crumble. But just when they think the script is playing out in their favor, the story takes a sharp turn. God steps in, flips the narrative, and leaves them standing in the wreckage of their own plans. The twist isn't subtle, it's undeniable. You see, God doesn't just rewrite endings, he changes the entire perspective. What they thought would destroy you becomes the very thing that elevates you. The trap they set becomes their downfall. While they're busy plotting your demise, God is preparing your victory. And when it happens, it's not slow or gradual. It's sudden, undeniable, and so precise that it's clear they were never in control to begin with. The tables don't just turn, they flip. They're left reeling, questioning how everything unraveled so quickly, how the power they thought they had disappeared in an instant. It's not a coincidence, it's divine direction. They wrote the script, but God always held the ending. And here's the beauty of it. While they're stuck in the aftermath, you're thriving. Not just surviving, but thriving in a way they never anticipated. The plot twist wasn't for their benefit. It was for yours. A reminder that no one can dictate your story except the one who authored your purpose. Number 5. Their sentence starts with silence. Their downfall doesn't begin when the cuffs click. It starts in the quiet, long before anyone else sees their shame. It's that moment when the noise of their schemes fades. The applause they imagined never comes, and all they're left with is silence. This isn't the kind of silence that brings peace. It's the kind that echoes their failure, forcing them to confront the truth they've been running from. They didn't win. They thought they could destroy you, but every plan, every calculated move led them nowhere. And now, in the stillness, they realize that for all their plotting, they've gained nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction, just the weight of their own failure pressing down on them. The silence is their first taste of judgment, not external, but internal. It's the sound of everything unraveling. In that quiet moment, they have no one to distract them, no lies to tell, no schemes to execute. It's just them and the stark reality that they couldn't break you. Worse, they begin to see that in trying to destroy you, they've started to destroy themselves. The silence forces reflection, and that's when the real punishment begins. This isn't about you seeking revenge. It's about them coming to terms with the fact that their actions had no power over someone who's divinely protected. They thought they controlled the game, but the silence shows them they were never in control at all. It's their own conscience, their own guilt, and their own emptiness that will haunt them. The silence is loud, relentless, and inescapable. It's not the end of their sentence. It's the beginning. Long before the world sees their failure, they're already serving time in the quiet agony of knowing they lost. Number 6. God can snap strings they didn't know existed. People who thrive on arrogance, control, and ego often think they're untouchable. They act like puppeteers, pulling strings to manipulate situations, relationships, and even lives. But what they don't realize is that those strings they rely on so heavily aren't as secure as they think. They're dangling, not standing, and God doesn't need anyone's permission to cut them loose. Their power isn't as solid as they believe. It's propped up by fragile constructs, connections, lies, and systems they think they control. But God doesn't play by their rules, and he doesn't need a courtroom, an audience, or even a moment of warning to snap those strings. The same things they trusted to keep them in control can vanish in an instant. Their influence, gone. Their authority, stripped. Their ego, shattered. What makes it even more profound is how subtle yet devastating it can be. They're too busy orchestrating their plans to notice the unraveling that's already begun. One by one, the strings they depend on weaken. A key ally turns their back. A carefully crafted lie collapses. A secret they thought buried comes to light. By the time they realize what's happening, it's too late. God's intervention doesn't require theatrics. It's precise and intentional.
To attract wealthy resources like a magnet, just listen to this before bed. Don't skip this video. God wants to speak to you. He has chosen you. If you are watching this video, it means you have been chosen to receive unexpected money. A large amount, so large that you can share it with everyone you love. The only thing you need to do for this to become reality is to listen to the miraculous 60-second audio. And then, money will start coming into your life from all possible places. If today you need to pay a bill, settle a debt, or if you simply would like more money in your life, the 60-second audio will help you. This audio is so powerful and strong that you should listen to it only once a day. Otherwise, you might end up attracting too much money. Just so you understand the power of this audio, it has been hidden from you for years, because this is the secret of the rich to get so much money. And they definitely do not want you to discover it. In fact, there are few people in the world who have the chance to access the audio. But if you are watching this video, you have been chosen for this. So feel special. Today you have the chance to change your entire life. To access the 60-second audio and understand everything about how it works, just click on the Learn More button. You will be redirected to a video where I explain everything to you. You will understand what this audio is and why it is so powerful. And if you stay until the end of the video, you could receive money today. Click now.
One of the great responsibilities that we have is to tell boys and girls, men and women, why the narrow way. Why the narrow?
The minister once said in a church to a young candidate, young man, you are called to this church not in the first place to preach sermons or make pastoral calls, but to live among the people the best life you can.
I want to beg you here to consecrate your intellectual powers and your training, your seminary training, to the work.
He doesn't just break the visible strings, they knew about those. It's the ones they didn't even realize existed that he snaps. Their inner pride, their sense of invincibility, the illusion that they were ever truly in control. When the strings are cut, they don't just fall, they're exposed. Every ounce of power they clung to evaporates, leaving them powerless, vulnerable, and forced to face the truth. They were never holding the strings. The strings were holding them, and God was always in control. Number 7, your survival was their undoing. When they set out to destroy you, they were so sure of their own power, so certain that you wouldn't make it through. They banked on your downfall being their victory, as if your suffering would validate their schemes. But the moment you survived, despite everything they threw your way, was the moment their world began to crumble. Your survival isn't just a testament to your resilience, it's proof of divine preservation. It's a statement they can't ignore, a glaring reminder that their plans failed, and not just failed, they backfired. Every move they made to harm you has left them carrying the weight of their failure. And here's the thing, your survival doesn't just bruise their ego, it dismantles their identity. They saw themselves as powerful, capable of controlling outcomes, of breaking you. But now, every breath you take, every step forward you make, is a blow to the very foundation of their arrogance. It forces them to confront a reality they can't bear. They lost, and you're still standing. The fact that you're here means they miscalculated in the worst way possible. They didn't account for the unseen hand of protection over your life, the strength that doesn't come from this world, but from a purpose much greater. And that realization is their undoing. It's not just about them losing. It's about them realizing that their loss is permanent. They can't reverse what's happened. They can't erase the proof of their failure. The more you thrive, the more it gnaws at them. Your survival isn't just a victory for you, it's a reckoning for them. And in that reckoning, they lose far more than they ever thought possible. Number 8, karma works on divine speed, not human patience. When people hurt you, it's easy to wonder why they seem to thrive while you're left picking up the pieces. It feels unfair, like karma's on vacation or moving at a snail's pace. But here's the truth. Karma doesn't work on human patience. It operates on divine timing. It's not about hitting back when emotions are high. It's about delivering consequences that stick for good. While you were focused on healing, they were busy digging their own graves without even realizing it. The lies they told, the traps they set, and the power they abused, every single action was a step closer to their own downfall. Karma isn't slow, it's strategic. It doesn't just hit where it hurts. It waits for the perfect moment when they can no longer escape what's coming. God's timing isn't about revenge. It's about lessons. It's not a quick slap on the wrist. It's an undeniable reckoning. The delay isn't a sign of inaction, it's preparation. The longer it seems to take, the deeper the impact when it finally lands. And when it does, it doesn't just affect them, it dismantles everything they thought they'd built. You see, divine speed isn't about rushing to prove a point. It's about ensuring the consequences are so thorough that the lesson becomes permanent. They don't get to brush it off, start over, or pretend it didn't happen. It stays with them, a constant reminder of what they did and what it cost. So, while you're rising above, growing stronger, and finding peace, they're walking straight into the outcome they created. Karma, guided by God's hand, never misses. It doesn't rush, but it always arrives, and when it does, it's right on time. Number 9, the public fall from a private plot. They thought they could plot in secret, conceal their true intentions, and escape the consequences. But when the truth finally emerges, there's no escaping the spotlight. What was done behind closed doors is dragged into the open, and their fall is no quiet whisper. It's a deafening crash. God doesn't believe in private retribution for public harm. The lies, betrayal, and manipulation they orchestrated in private have a way of unraveling in full view for everyone to see. Their downfall isn't discreet. It's loud, visible, and impossible to ignore. Every step they took in the shadows now becomes a stage for judgment. They thought they had control, that they could orchestrate their scheme without ever facing the consequences. But God's justice doesn't play by their rules. What they concealed with arrogance and deceit is exposed with clarity and truth. Their reputation, their influence, their very image, everything they built crumbles as the world watches. There's no place to hide from the fallout. Their private scheme is now a very public disaster, and every attempt to salvage their position only digs the hole deeper. They believed they were untouchable, that their manipulations would go unnoticed. But God's light shines where darkness once ruled. What was meant to be their secret weapon has become their undoing, leaving them vulnerable to the very public scrutiny they sought to avoid. There's no redemption in secrecy when God exposes the heart's intentions. Their fall is loud because they were loud, deliberate, calculated, and ultimately destructive. Number 10. Their victory was a mirage. They danced in the glow of their supposed triumph, believing it outmaneuvered you at every turn. Their schemes, their manipulation, and their carefully laid plans gave them a fleeting sense of superiority. But what they mistook for victory was nothing more than a mirage, a temporary illusion that fades when the truth catches up. What they didn't realize is that God wasn't fooled by their shallow success. He allowed them to bask in their supposed victory, allowing their egos to inflate and their confidence to soar, all while laying the groundwork for their ultimate. It's not about swift retribution. It's about the kind of justice that shifts perspectives and dismantles illusions over time. Their victory, carefully constructed on lies and manipulation, was built on unstable ground. The harder they pushed for dominance, the closer they moved toward their own undoing.
Ladies, how come we're taught to get a 9 to 5, but nobody taught us about the secret 5 to 9 strategy that actually creates time and financial freedom? If you swap your 9 to 5 for a 5 to 9, that is the easiest path for women to create wealth and freedom. And here's how it works. Everybody knows by now that the 9 to 5 is a never-ending cycle. You clock in, you clock out, it pays your bills, and that's really it. Your life stays the same, and you're basically repeating the same day every single day until you can finally.
What they thought was solid and unshakable proved to be hollow. And when that illusion collapsed, the fall was inevitable. God's timing doesn't need drama to make a point. It's quiet, but profoundly impactful. He allowed them to feel powerful, even invincible, just so they could experience the full weight of their fall. Their arrogance fueled their delusion, but the truth never bends for ego. It shatters it. As a mirage, a fleeting, deceptive moment where they thought they controlled the outcome. Their so-called success was merely an illusion, and God's truth is the foundation that will stand long after they've crumbled. Number 11. Their lives are the currency they didn't know they gambled. They were so focused on taking from you, so consumed by the desire to control and destroy, that they didn't realize they were playing a dangerous game. What they thought was a calculated risk has become a debt they can't repay. Their lives are the currency they unwittingly gambled. In their quest for power
You see this girl? She's beautiful. She's wonderful. She's courageous. She's marvelous. She's brilliant. She's special.